Hello. Hi,
Hello.
and
Hello.
welcome. Today is a very, I would say, very exciting day for me personally, because I'm actually launching what I've actually called the Self-Leadership ConversActions series. And I've been literally just excited to get conscious, raw, and real with experts in human transformation. I think there are certain topics that don't get the visibility that they should actually do get. And there are still so many areas that are totally unknown for many professionals, many individuals in general. And this is what we aim to do here. We aim to hold a space to connect with many of those industry experts that would unpack for us many of these topics. And for our episode number 1, I cannot be more excited. I've been meaning to catch up with this lady for a long time, since we actually met on LinkedIn. I've been admiring her work and looking at all their, transformation, what she's been achieving lately. And it is really, really inspiring. So today I would love to welcome, and I do actually give a warm welcome to Anna Kalbasko.
Thank you so
Welcome,
much. Thank you
Anna.
so much. I'm so happy to be here and thank you for inviting me for the launch of the new format that you are creating. I think it's so important to talk about practices that go deep and help us to take care of our emotional landscape, of our inner world, of what actually makes us humans. And I am honored to be in the episode 1. And I just want to say I love the name Converse Action, because we can talk all we want. We can read the books, we can listen to podcasts, but unless we take all this information, integrate, and put it into action, nothing really would happen. So I just love how inspiring the title is.
Thank you very much. Let us just also say that, or give a little introduction to Anna. And of course, say something that I've actually just did not mention right at the beginning. We'll be actually talking on inner child work. This is what she's an expert for. But let me just give you a little bit of an introduction about who she is and what she does. Anna Kalbasko is a certified motion image therapist, meditation teacher, and conscious leadership coach based in London and in Paris, both. She is the founder of Be Inner Aware and the Inner Work Agency, where she helps individuals and brands cultivate deep awareness and intuitive capabilities to thrive in an ever-evolving world. With a background as a former architect, Anna has a unique ability to bridge both the inner and the outer worlds, integrating both a structure with self-discovery. Anna specializes, as I said, in inner child work as a tool to connect deeper to the most vulnerable and authentic parts of ourselves, to release outdated behavioral patterns, to let our most authentic self thrive. So her mission is to help others explore and transform their inner world so that they can deepen their capabilities for self-awareness and embrace possibilities, making her the perfect guest to begin this series.
Bless you.
Welcome again,
Thank
Anna.
you. Thank you so much. This is a beautiful introduction, and it sounds like quite an interesting person. I would like to meet you.
Me too. I think I'm talking to her now. Thank you again. Anna, if you allow me, on the topic of inner child,
Yes.
while doing my research, I came across with a quote from Carl Jung. Okay, someone that I
Okay.
know
You
that
love
you
him. Yes,
appreciate a
yes.
lot. Okay, so for whoever doesn't know who Carl Jung is a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst that was very famous, right? So the quote goes, in every adult, there lurks a child, an eternal child, something that is always becoming and is never ever completed and calls for unceasing care, attention, and education. So this was Carl Jung's way to acknowledge the presence of the inner child within every adult.
Beautiful. And I cannot agree more that everyone has their inner child, because we all has been kids at some point in life. So inner child is not something abstract or something that not many people have. No, we all have childhood experiences that shaped our perception in a certain way. Firstly, the perception of who we are. Secondly, the perception of how we are towards the world, how the world is, whether it's a safe place, whether it's a scary place, or whether it's a curious place where I can play. All of those intentions are the way how we see ourselves in the world form in childhood. And most of the time, they are formed until the age of 7. After that, we just take what was there and we try to roll through life with this set of conscious, or most of the time unconscious, beliefs. And can you imagine, many of us, most of us still live according to the beliefs of the 7-year-old child. Now, it's not always a bad thing, because some of the beliefs definitely serve us very well. But there are other beliefs that maybe were necessary at some point in the past, but they are not helping us right now where we are at work, in business, in different relationship that we built. So this is where inner child work come into play. It's a practice of becoming aware, to do a spring clean of the beliefs. Actually, what did I form as the belief system as a child? What helps me, what doesn't, and how I can shape what doesn't help me anymore.
Right. And this is so interesting. But before we really dive into what inner child is and the actual like work, I was wondering, why is it that inner work in general and building our inner capabilities are still such a woo-woo subject, such a taboo topic, or that taboo topic or subject, like in many, I would say, in many areas, not only just in the corporate world, but it just falls outside, because there obviously we know that the transformational possibilities and power is great. Why do you think that is so?
It's quite unfortunate, but what I see, the corporate and business world still overvalues something external, something what brings results, something what can be evaluated. Yet we know it is the emotional landscape, it is the inner world that drives all human behavior. And before we actually pay attention, bring awareness, and take care of the inner world, what kind of KPIs we can talk about, and we can try to improve as much as we can, but it's like trying to deal with a symptom without actually working with the root. And it was so clear to me even before I pivoted my career towards psychology, that when I was an architect, everything what we create as creative, it is born inside. And the level of stress I had, the overwhelmed I had, the amount of deadlines I had, it all impacted my inner world, and then it had an effect what I could get out of it. So the correlation was so clear to me, and At the same time, I am happy that more leaders are becoming more aware of how important it is to take care of their inner world, which is our superpower in the age of AI as well. What makes us human, and what makes us human is our ability to feel.
Absolutely. That
Right?
is so beautiful. That is actually one of the concerns that I've had, you know, in the last sort of 6 months, you know, with the hype of, you know, what's happening with AI and even before, but especially now. And we think how important really is the whole sort of like coaching on, like the whole sort of one-to-one, like I hold a space for you, you hold a space for me, you know, like no judgment, like, you know, in the area of all this, you know, computerized, you know, results and inputs and outputs and we know that we've all tried this, you know, being coached by AI and, you know, and I think it's good to try, but it's amazing, you know, what you can get out of them. But it literally, it's like, I believe they will be actually like hungry for this human touch.
And not and it's a quality of human touch, it's a quality of human presence and human connection we will be after eventually. And the quality of the connection we can provide to the other will depend on the quality of connection we have with ourselves in our different parts, because we can get to the depth with the other to the extent how deep we connected to ourselves.
Right. So going back to the inner child work, like how would you define it to like someone that has like no background in, you know, like coaching or inner work?
Yeah.
What is inner child work or
Work.
even like the inner child?
Sure. So I would say that inner child, it's a collection of different childhood experiences. It's the emotions you felt, it's the beliefs you are obtained, it's everything what happened to you as a child. It doesn't go away. Nothing what we experience, what we consume, what we see, it never goes away. We cannot erase any experience. It gets stored in the mind, it gets stored in the body, and then it forms the unconscious part of the mind. And we tend to say that 95% of the time we live from the unconscious part of the mind. So it's something what drives our life, and it's definitely a good idea to connect to it and actually understand at least for a bit what is happening there. This is what I try to do with inner child work. It's a practice where I invite my clients on the journey to actually reconnect with their childhood experiences and understand how those affected and still affect their adulthood. Because the way how we triggered, the way how we get into the repetitive situations, despite of the fact that we do everything right, the type of fears we have, for example, fear to be seen, fear of visibility, fear of that people will judge me, this all comes from childhood. So I help people to reconnect with the root. When was the first time I felt that way? What happened? And how I can transform that experience in a way that it doesn't negatively impact me anymore. And the parts of me are not stuck in the past anymore.
Right. And that sounds like, you know, it's got a lot of sense. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, like not everyone would be able to afford, you know, like a coach, and there will be a lot of people that, you know, it's like they'll be also wondering, or maybe they have the reservations about even engaging with one because of, you know, confidentiality or whatever. So how would one ever or even like starts or begin wondering about their inner child, like being like throwing a little bit of awareness, into
Sure.
this inner child topic.
Sure. Just to say, I personally believe it's a big gift to be able to work with someone else. Because even me, I have a psychologist, I have a supervisor. It's important for someone to hold space for you, because as much as we are aware, we will never be able to be aware of everything what is happening. Therefore, to have another set of eyes in front of you who are helping you and guiding you is important for a deep dive, for a deep exploration. But there is always a way to start by yourself. And I would say it can start with very two simple questions. The question number one, how do I feel? And when you ask this question inside of you, you can imagine you are asking your inner child. You can actually visualize, bring to mind an image of the younger self standing next to you, and start with a simple question, how are you? And then just listen. The question number two, what do you need? How are you? What do you feel? And what do you need? The more we ask these questions on the daily basis, two things happen. We develop a sense of self-awareness. We are asking the questions and we try to feel, okay, what is alive in me right now? What do I actually need? And the second thing that is happening, we are starting to build trusting relationship between our different parts. Because who is asking the inner child? It's someone who cares for the inner child. So the caring figure inside of you is building one of the most important relationships in your life between you and the inner child. So
Wow.
how do you feel and what do you need? It sounds very simple, which is good because we are in the business of building a new habit and we don't want to complicate it. But at the same time, you cannot imagine how profound it is if you take it as a daily practice for you.